First off, how do you look back at the season you guys had together here, and then obviously you're going to be a free agent this summer. How do you look ahead to the summer and the decisions you'll have ahead?
Yeah, I mean the year. I mean, obviously didn't ultimately end in what we wanted to accomplish. I mean, I feel like it's like a good year that we'll look back on well, and yeah, I mean, obviously the day after and stuff, it's a little tough, and I think that with a little more time, you'll be able to kind of appreciate things for what they were. Yeah, I mean, just kind of obviously we had some good stretches, and yeah, but ultimately came up short. So that's just kind of the taste in the mouth for the time being. And then yeah, I mean, regarding going forward, it's like we'll figure out stuff when it kind of comes to it. At this point, you're just kind of trying to unwind and spend some time with family, and you don't even know what everything's going to look like because you just got done playing. So yeah, that's kind of what it is for now.
Luke, you just said it right there. Like, it was a disappointing ending, but you think you'll ultimately look back on this season as like successful, or at least this group or whatever. What goes into like compartmentalizing those feelings as like, especially as an athlete, where you can feel like you did everything possible, and then in one game it just all like unfolds the way it did last night. Like, what goes into like mentally processing that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, a part of it is just kind of like yeah, it just sort of takes time of kind of going through that. I think also there's something about even being able to experience last year for what it was, and with like every season that I don't know, like the amount of yeah success you like had or didn't have. I feel like ultimately you kind of look back at your team, and you know how kind of fickle everything could kind of be, and to have been able to win and accomplish, we know how well things went and how well we played, and then to fall short, you kind of just have I was just sort of like the humility of competition and knowing that like a lot of things have to go right and you have to play great basketball. So I think you ultimately try to just kind of evaluate yourself and your group in terms of how well you kind of did the things to just put yourself in a good position, and then what you want to kind of do better going forward. Obviously, in that like immediate aftermath, you're like feel certain ways about it, but ultimately it's just kind of like, yeah, did you sort of like trust the process that you had, and also just trust the intentions that you and your team kind of played with, and yeah, you kind of know that there's a lot that can go up and down in terms of like how it actually the results sort of play out.
Luke,
I asked.
sorry. Go ahead, Caleb. You're good.
I asked Peyton a similar question, but I want to know from your perspective, just from this kind of same group last year to this year, you being such a character of this team, what do you appreciate most? It may look differently next year, who knows? But what for the past couple of years, like what do you appreciate most about this group?
Honestly, I feel like just I really kind of like the competitive character of all the guys in the room, and I feel like, yeah, that in terms of like team to team, there can be like a wide range of things, but I feel like in terms of the amount of kind of friction you have of guys like ultimately just trying to do whatever it takes to win is very low, and I feel like everyone is so willing to just kind of buy into whatever that takes and what that like seems to be for the situation, and I think you go like up and down the roster, and everyone is just playing to win and for the team's success, and I feel like that's a pretty rare thing to have, and I think like it's kind of one of those things too that you just like you don't even really like notice it as much as like things are just kind of like seamless in how they operate, and I feel like in just being able to have also a lot of years with a lot of the guys on the team and stuff like that is just you get to see kind of the development of that and the progress of that, and also like everybody's individual growth kind of as it pertains to that, and finding everyone's own role within like the success of the team. So yeah, I mean, I really just like the relationships of that, and just being able to go out and compete together is something that's like an honor to be a part of, and it involves falling short like this, but in terms of like how you felt about your group, and also how you feel about everyone's ultimate understanding of like being grateful to have your place in it and trying to do your best in that, and also like appreciating all the different dynamics that people bring in terms of some people really being forceful drivers, some people helping just smooth out everything on the court and everything in between. I think it's like a cool gift to be able to acknowledge that everyone has a little bit of a different way about going about it, but then ultimately they're all trying to like coalesce into the same direction.
Luke, you talked about just the the uniqueness of this group. Al and Drew mentioned they thought you guys obviously were the better team against the Knicks. You guys outplayed the majority of the series. How do you just assess just what the series itself, or what you kind of learned from it in terms of the opportunity kind of slipping away for you guys with this kind of a group?
Yeah, I think it's tough. I think it's like, just kind of also the lesson, obviously, of just like how important every game is. And I feel like with how the first two games went, and like ending up letting those slide and losing them was, you just put yourself kind of back against the wall with just like limited chances, And we've been on the other side of that, fortunately. Like I think about like Indiana game 1 last year, obviously, where we won. And it's like, it's kind of basketball though, and how important every single moment is. And I think it's also just a pretty cool thing of being able to recognize, like, all the other teams in the league, that they're getting better, they're working on things, they're trying to grow and improve, and ultimately at the end of the day, it's just like there's the game to play, and that's all that sort of matters. Like, it doesn't really matter how anything before or after is going to go. It just matters what's going to happen on that night, and I think that's kind of like the joy of competition and what you're kind of in it for, and you don't really get to take the benefits of having a night where you go out and you win and are able to all come together without also having the times where you recognize, like, the little lapse, a little, like, some great play by the other team. Like, all that stuff is, like, you can't control all that, and you have to be subject to it. So, credit to, New York and the series that they did play and their persistence in it. And I think you can easily, like, recognize, the goodness of other teams and what they do, and allow that to kind of just purify you as a competitor, and to be better going forward. Yeah, I was about as good a teammate I've ever seen. Honestly, he's the best one I've ever seen, and just in terms of like his ability to do both like personally and like emotionally, just be like steady and reliable for like a group, but then also have like such a high competitive character, and know when it's just time where, like, oh, we're not holding ourselves accountable, we need to elevate, and be able to communicate that without it being, or with it always being pretty like accurate and just, and like something everyone would agree with. So he's obviously meant a lot to our team and to his franchise, and he's obviously an incredibly accomplished player and great, but I feel like in terms of like an identity for the team, so much of it is him and his leadership, and a lot of it's kind of just like silent and goes without being noticed. But he's the best teammate I've ever played with, and just like a great leader, kind of in all aspects of it too, which I think is really impressive. Sometimes you have someone who's really good, personally, and handling guys. Some guys who are just great competitors on court, and his ability to kind of just align, like, both on and off the court, but then also just like the preparation and the managing of everybody, and then also just going out to compete, is something that's really admirable, and I think like just a great example of virtue in the sport. And it's an honor to play with him, and obviously you take the time to make those decisions and stuff like that, but it's something you want to cherish every single year if you have an opportunity to even play with a guy like that, because it is rare and not common to be able to have that experience. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.